Right. Thank you, everyone, for joining in on this last live stream. So this is our last live stream for the hackathon, the Microsoft Data Plus AI Kenya Hack. My name is Josh Demenge. I'm a cloud developer advocate here at Microsoft for the data advocacy team, and I'll be going through this final session. So this is not going to be a technical session. It's going to be a session just to cover the next steps and also how to submit your hackathon project. So it's not going to go through the whole 1 hour format like we've been doing with our technical live streams. Right. So just as a quick reminder, this is the Microsoft Data Plus AI Kenya Hackathon. This has been running for the last 3 weeks. That's for the last 2 weeks. This is from March 12th, and it's going to keep running all the way until April 11th. So just a reminder, all the information about this hackathon can be found at aka.ms/data+ai /data-ai-Kenya hack. And just to take you to that screen, so I'm just going to go to aka.ms/data Kenya. Sorry, data-ai-hack-Kenya. Oh, I think I messed that up. Okay. So this should be the site that you find everything that you need in regards to the hackathon. So this has been the resource that you've been using. And so if there's anything that you might have missed, if you've missed any of our past live streams, like for example, we've had previous live streams running for the last 2 weeks. If you've missed any of those, you can be able to use the links here and access the recording of those live streams. We've had our first kickoff call that was ran by Bethany, Lee, Stott, and also Jasmine, and they kind of helped set the tone for the hackathon and also shared some of the insights in regards to building successful projects for the Hack Together. We had a session by Samuel Eze where he covered an introduction to Microsoft Fabric. If you missed that, I would recommend just go back there and have a look at that. I'm just going to zoom these in a little bit. Also, we've had a session on data warehouses on Microsoft Fabric. We've had a session on building RAG applications, and we are excited to see whether there are any of us that are going to build RAG applications for this hackathon. And so we had a session on RAG applications and how to build those using the event house in Microsoft Fabric as a vector store. And this week we had a session with Corey where he covered how to build AI agents using the Azure AI Agent service. And today we're doing the short live stream on how to submit your hack and also share with you some of the next steps. So this is like your stop guide for everything that you need if you want to learn about previous projects that have previous projects from previous hackathon. Last year we did 2 similar hackathons, the Microsoft Global AI Hack and also the Microsoft Fabric and AI Learning Hackathon, which followed a similar format, and you can be able to find the winning projects from those hackathons as well, and we'll look at those in a few. We've also attached a few learning materials from here, so if you've at any point need some extra resources, even after this hackathon, extra resources around Microsoft Fabric, you can be able to access the end-to-end tutorials. We've also put together here end-to-end workshops that can guide you on how to use the platform effectively and also to help you explore some of the various features in the platform. We also have some few more resources around Fabric and the Azure OpenAI, and you can be able to access a few of those. We have copilots in the copilot enabled capability inside of Microsoft Fabric. If you need those kinds of resources, you can be able to access those. And during this hackathon, I have had a few emails coming to us, people inquiring if they needed to use Copilot, what they needed. And previously, you always needed an F64 Fabric capacity for that, but earlier this week there was an announcement, and beginning the end of this month, you can be able to use any paid SKU all the way from an F2 and above with all the Copilot and AI powered capabilities. I know that means you couldn't have used Copilot or any of the other AI-powered capabilities for this hackathon without an F64 capacity. But in the future, and especially beginning end of this month, it's just a good thing to remember, or just to note that the Copilot and all the other AI-powered capabilities inside of Microsoft Fabric will be available for all paid SKUs F2 and above. And then we have more resources around Azure AI and generative AI, and we've even added a new resource here on the Azure AI agent service, and so you can be able to access all of that here. More information about judging and prizes, and we'll go through these in a short while. You can be able to access all the various resources here. For those of you that are still building your solutions and you're still using the you want to leverage the generative AI solutions using Azure OpenAI, you can find the resource here on how to access at no cost, unlimited access to Azure OpenAI resources, and we kind of provide you with the resources in terms of how you can go ahead and leverage the proxy that we've deployed for you for purposes of this hackathon, and how you can be able to use it in your project. So all the resources can be found here on this. They can be found here on this particular resource. Now, the next thing. Sorry, I'm just going to. Let's minimize that. Okay, the next thing, just to highlight the timeline, how things are looking like. One, the hackathon kicked off on March 12th, and we've had the various live streams as I've showcased. We've had the kickoff call on March 18th, and you can find the links to the recordings of all of these past live streams from the links on the hackathon site at aka.ms-data-ai-hack-kenya, and you can be able to see all the various live streams we've had. We've had the kickoff call, we've had the introduction to Fabric, the data warehouses live stream, we've had the RAG live stream, and also we also had the Azure AI agent service live stream, and today we have the live stream on how to submit your hack and also the next steps after this live stream. So just to notice, today on the 3rd of April, we're having this live stream, and on April 8th, that's going to be the submission deadline. So ensure that you submit your submissions before or on 8th of April at 11:59, before 11:59 p.m. East African time. So just ensure you get your projects ready, and we'll go through the whole process on how to submit your hackathon projects. And then finally, on April 25th, we'll have our final judging, the winner announcement, and also the closing ceremony. Now, you notice we have a bit of time between the 8th of April and the 25th of April. So a few things are going to happen between that period of time. So the first thing that is going to happen, we're going to have some sort of our online, first round of judging. You won't entirely be involved in this, but what that is going to do, that is going to allow us to shortlist at least the top 10 projects, and then from there we'll have those top 10 projects coming in at the Microsoft offices on April 25th, and then they can be able to pitch. They can be able to pitch their live projects and just showcase, not rather pitch, but like more of showcasing these live projects to a panel of judges in person. And then we'll have a short closing ceremony and also the winner announcement still on April 25th. So for April 25th, this is going to be an in-person event. But for those of you who can't make it to come for the in-person event at the Microsoft offices, we're going to allow you as well to do this virtually. So we're going to have some sort of a showcase on April 25th. And even if you are unable to do that, the videos that you submit for your for the hackathon in the event that you are unable to show up for the live judging at the office, we'll just leverage the same video. So no one should be disadvantaged by that fact. So that means also we'll also extend invites depending on how many people. We'll also extend invites to all other participants apart from the ones who've been shortlisted, and you should be receiving an email you should be receiving an email for you to register to attend the in-person closing ceremony on the April 25th. So just look out for that from the same email that you've been receiving all previous communications. Okay, now the other thing that I would like us now to start looking at is the judging criteria. And for the judging criteria, we have a few things that we're looking at. And the first one is the alignment to the hackathon goal. So that's going to be the first judging criteria. And for the hackathon, the alignment with the hackathon goal, the idea here is, does the project you submit actually align with the goal of designing, building, and deploying a functional real-world application using AI and Microsoft Fabric? So essentially here, the overall goal for this hackathon was, to enable all participants to be able to build and deploy a functional real-world application using Fabric and AI. So we just want to see, are you able to do that? Have you been able to achieve that, building something tangible, building a real-world solution, a real-world data plus AI solution on Microsoft Fabric, and also leveraging AI. So we give you access to the generative AI models. You can access those from the proxy. We just need to see how well you've been able to build your solutions on that. Then the second part will be, do you actually use multiple Fabric features? We've covered the various features inside of Microsoft Fabric, from data factory, data warehouse, data engineering, data science, Power BI. Are you using one workload or multiple workloads on your project? And on top of that, are you also using AI capabilities, specifically those from Azure AI? So we need to see the use of both Microsoft Fabric and also the use of Azure AI. We need to see how you're using both of these both of these tools and technologies together to build your projects. The third thing is the innovation / impact. So here we check, does this solution have a real world relevance? Are you actually solving a clearly defined problem, and could this solution be beneficial to others? So beyond just building a real world solution, beyond just using Fabric and AI, Azure AI to build the solution that you use, is it reproducible by other people? Can they be able to use a similar approach? Could your solution be beneficial to other people who are facing a similar problem to the one that you're trying to solve? So that's going to be 25%. And if you notice that, the first three here really carrying the bulk of the weight for these particular judging criteria. So as you're working through your project, I think it's much important to try and answer these questions as you go. So as you're working on your project, just try thinking, are we actually building a real world application? Are we using both Fabric? Are we using both Fabric and AI? How are we leveraging generative AI in our applications? How are we using maybe one or more workloads inside of Microsoft Fabric? And also seeing the reproducibility of this. Is your solution really beneficial to other people? So try answering some of these questions as you go, and you can see these three criteria here, they really carry much of the weight for this particular hackathon. Then we have two more. One is documentation and reproducibility. So we've mentioned previously about the innovation and impact. And so the other thing we need to ensure is this clearly documented in a GitHub repo? Are you providing steps that is easier for anyone else to reproduce your steps to solve this particular problem? And also, are you including a video demonstration? Remember, our judges, for them to judge your problem, your projects, they're going to rely mainly on your documentation and your video demonstration. So I really put effort as well beyond just building the solutions, which is covered by the first three judging criteria. These other two should really enable the judges to interact with your project. So ensure it's well documented in a GitHub repo, and also ensure that you link a video demonstration for your project. So this could be on a YouTube. You could put this on YouTube. Could put this on OneDrive. Just essentially, wherever you put your video, the most important thing you need to ensure is that that link is publicly available. So before you add that link in your project submission, what I'll do is maybe I'll just open a new in private browser. I paste that link in there just to confirm that that link is accessible by someone who isn't logged in onto the same platform you're uploading your video onto. And while we're still there, one of the things I would like to maybe show you is we've also linked here. You can see we've linked a few projects, a few winning projects from the previous winners. Like for example, here you can see we've linked the grand prize winner for the Microsoft Fabric Global AI Hack, and why this was a good solution. And can just open this onto a new link, onto a new tab. Why this was a good project submission was, one, it solves a real-world problem using Fabric and Azure AI. So it combined Microsoft Fabric and Azure AI to solve a problem. The solution itself is shared in a public GitHub repository. It had a clear demonstration and instructions. And if I come here, you can be able to see this. I'm just going to zoom in just a little bit. You can see the project is it's really well documented. It's easy to follow through the process. You can see everything is well documented in a GitHub repo. The other thing is they also provided a clear video demonstration. And if I open this, it's going to take me to the site where they hosted their project. And in this case, I think it was hosted on YouTube. And you can be able to see here. It's well documented as well. And just to mention about the video, we're not really putting a time limit for the video. We're not really being strict, like should be 3 minutes, should be 7 minutes, should be 10 minutes. Just try and ensure you don't make it overly too long, but just ensure you kind of try and cover everything within your project. So these are some of the important points when you start thinking about your projects. And we've linked here all the past winners of the previous global hackathons. So here we had the Microsoft Fabric Global AI Hackathon, and you can be able to see the winners of that hackathon. You can be able to access that. And we also had the winners of the Microsoft Fabric and AI Learning Hackathon. And from these two instances, you will notice it follows the same trend. The winners actually, documented their projects correctly. They provided a good video demonstrating the work they've done, and their solutions was actually solving real-world problems. And in as much as the judging criteria for these previous hackathons might be a little different, you notice most of especially the first two, they really are the same like the others. And so you can see we have this overall project has a good video demonstration, which zoom in a little bit, has a good video demonstration. It has proper documentation. So I would really ask you to check these out, check all of these out when you're beginning working on submitting your projects, just so that you can get some inspiration into how some of the winning teams, how they leveraged all these tools together, Fabric and AI, to build their solutions, how they documented that correctly, and then how they actually went ahead and submitted. So this is for the Fabric and AI Learning Hackathon. And then here we had the Microsoft Fabric Global AI Hack. And again, it's the same. You can be able to see the projects were well submitted, proper documentation, the videos are all accessible, and so on and so forth. So just to highlight, and you can be able to access all these links from the hackathon site. Now, the other thing to highlight is, sorry, let me just minimize this one. The other thing to mention is the prizes. Now, for the prizes, we have some cool prizes for all the winning teams. And we'll only have three teams winning this hackathon. So for this particular hackathon, we don't have very many different categories. We only have the overall winner, the grand prize winner, the second runners-up, and the runners-up and the second runners-up. So let's just go through the winning categories. So we'll have the overall winning team, and so this is the best of the best. And so this category the winner of this category definitely that team meets all the judging criteria. They wow the judges. The project they submitted has a potential for real world value. It demonstrates and the innovative use of using artificial intelligence and Microsoft Fabric. So really, this is a project that brings the best of the world of Fabric and the best of the world of Azure AI and builds a really innovative solution around that. So for the overall winning team, they will get 1,500 USD worth of CAFO vouchers, and this is going to be split equally among the 3 team members. So remember, one of the rules of the hackathon is that each team has to have 3 members, no more, no less. So if once you submit your GitHub, once you submit your project, and we'll get to the point about submitting your project, you have to submit the other team members that you worked with on this project. So there's a section where you have to submit the GitHub usernames of all the other people you worked with on this project. And so we'll ensure that this voucher is split equally among everyone else that worked with you on the project. So we won't accept projects that have only been submitted by one individual, because that goes against our rules, and we will also not accept projects that have more than 3 people. So it strictly has to be 3 people in one team for you to qualify for judging and then the prizes. So we'll first confirm that before we begin judging. We'll begin by confirming, like, the people submitting this project, they are actually 3 people, and then we'll provide those projects to the judges for judging. So yeah, we have the 1,500 USD worth of CAFO vouchers. This is going to be split equally among the team members, and then we have a swag package for the entire team. So there's going to be a hoodie, a desk mat, a backpack, and also a thermos flask. And also we're going to give the winning team, each member in the winning team, for the overall team, they will have a branded hackathon trophy for the overall winner of the hackathon. And then the second place team. So this is the second project that wows the judges. So remember, for us, we only have one criteria. I mean, or we don't have specific categories. So it's the same. It's the project that now the second best project after the first. For this one, it's the same. 900 USD worth of CAFO vouchers. These are going to be split equally among the 3 members. So again, each team has to have a maximum of 3 members, and not more, not less of 3 members. And then a swag package, similar swag package of 1 hoodie, 1 desk mat, backpack, a thermos flask, and then a different trophy, obviously, but now for the second the second team. So it's just going to be a different kind of trophy from the one that the first or the overall winners get. And then the last category of the winners will be the third place team, and these are going to get $600 worth of CAFO vouchers, against equally split among members, a swag package with the same contents, 1 hoodie, a desk mat, a backpack, a thermos flask, and also a different kind of hackathon trophy, except different from what the runners up get and what the overall team get. So those are the prizes. But just to mention, while I'm still here on the prizes, we'll also do a blog post, just like you've seen. We've done a blog post for the previous hackathons, and let me just bring that up. Just like you've seen, we've done a blog post for the previous winners. We'll do a blog post just to mention all the top projects. We'll definitely do that, but we also have a section on honorable mention. So we're just going to as well pick maybe 2 or 3 more projects, 2 or 3 around there projects that deserve an honorable mention. Yes, they might not have won the hackathon, but we also feel they did a good job, and we just would like to highlight those as well. So we'll definitely go ahead and put a blog post as well on the Microsoft Fabric community blog with all of these projects, and also some of the projects that don't make it to the top 3. We might just find a few more honorable mentions for those projects as well. All right. So the next thing is now submitting your hackathon project. So to submit your hackathon project, you can use this URL, aka.ms/data-ai-hack-kenya/submit, and you can also find the instructions on how to submit these from the hackathon site. So let's head over to the hackathon site, and let's go through the whole process for submitting your hackathon projects. So I'm going to come here, submit in this section on submit your project, and you need to do this before the 8th of April, before the 8th of April, 11:59 p.m. East African time. Ensure you've submitted your project on or before this time. So to submit, you have the link here, and you can just go to this link for you to submit. Oh, I need to log in. So let me log into my GitHub first, and then I'll bring that back. Right. All right. So let me just log in so that I can share with you the whole experience on how to submit your hackathon projects. All right. So I'm signed in to my GitHub account. So yeah, one thing you notice, you have to log into your GitHub account for you to submit these, and you only need to submit a few things. You need to provide a title for your project, and then just a very brief description. And if you're stuck, you can just, if you're unsure, as I mentioned, you can just go to the previous projects and just see how they did their submissions. But what you have to do is provide a short title, a project name, and then a description. So here, just describe what, the kind of problem you're solving and how you're solving it, how you're using Fabric, how you're using the AI solutions. Just provide a brief description so that we can understand exactly what you've done, what problem you're trying to solve, and how Fabric and AI, how you're using Fabric and AI to solve this particular problem. Then provide a valid project repository URL. So this should be a link to the repository where you've that has all the details to your project. And you can see, like, for example, just picking one project from the previous one, you can be able to see just how they did their submission. And so basically it has the README in terms of how to reproduce this particular project. And then you need to provide a project video. So this should be a publicly available URL. So just ensure. So for the project repository, ensure it's a public repository. If you provide a private repo, a link to a private repo, we may not have access to that. Just provide a link to a public repository, and then a project video in terms of that, describes how you actually solve this problem. As I mentioned, we don't have a time limit in terms of how long the video is, but just try not to give our judges a hard time by giving an overly long video. But you can do two short videos. You can do one shorter one, that you add here, and then if you have a long form video that has all details about your project, you can either have that in your repository, or you can put it, you can provide the link on the description. Then here on the team members, you need to provide a comma separated list of all the GitHub users who worked on this project. So here we need 3 members. So this is going to be you can leave out your username, because we'll get that from the GitHub issue, but you can also add that. So if you put 3 members here, just ensure the third member is you. Don't put 3 members and without your username here. So this is going to be your username plus the other 2 members who actually worked on this project. So we only need three usernames here. The team lead, who is actually submitting this project, and also the username of the other 2 members who actually participated in this hackathon. And the other thing, check this box, I have completed the registration, and this is important so that we can get your contact information, so that we can be able to contact you with all the information in regards to either attending the in-person closing ceremony, or even more details about how to collect your prizes. All right, so I'm going to pause there and just switch over to confirm whether we have any questions coming in. So I'm alone today. I don't have a moderator, so I have to go back to the YouTube channel whether we have any questions. All right, the video must be no. Okay. Okay, it seems Bethany is on chat. Thanks, Bethany, for helping out on chat. Thank you. Seems I have a moderator on chat. Thanks, Bethany. Okay, so the other thing to carry on is, so just ensure you filled out this form. One thing to note: once you filled out this form, if you see a label under review, means a green under review label means everything you've submitted is correct. Everything has been submitted. Okay. If you find another label assigned to the issue, like maybe invalid video, invalid project repository, just ensure you fix those issues as well. So just ensure after creating after submitting your project here by creating a GitHub issue, just wait a few seconds, maybe up to 1 minute, and then check on the status whether there is the under review label there. If there is an under review label, you can be able to use that. You can be able you're sure all the fields have been correctly validated and your project has been submitted on time for the judging. Right. The other thing is just to highlight something else is one of the things I need also to highlight is after the hackathon, you might want to continue to join a community where you want to keep learning, maybe around your data journey with Microsoft Fabric. I would really encourage you to join the Microsoft Fabric community. And you can do this on community.fabric.microsoft.com, and you can be able to access various resources around Microsoft Fabric and be able to get all the various announcements that are made from here. And you can be able to join various forums in case you're having any challenges, and people from the community can be able to assist you. The other thing is we also have an Azure AI community. This is specifically for Azure AI, and you can also join the community on Discord. So you can join this at aka.ms/ai-community-discord, and you can be able to connect with Microsoft experts, MVPs, other people within the community to dive into deeper discussions around AI. You can ask questions around the same. So that will also be a good place for you to join after this hackathon. And if you want to participate in another hackathon, the day we end the Microsoft Data Plus AI Kenya Hack, we will be having another hackathon. It's going to be run by another team here at Microsoft. It's the Agents Hack, and this is going to kick off on April 8th. So if you want to continue working on your project and now dive deeper into agents, and this might be a better opportunity for those of you who will be interested as well. Just check these out at aka.ms/agents hack. And so that's it. Just to reiterate, today, April 3rd, it's the last live stream for this hackathon. And next week on April 8th, that's going to be the submission deadline. So ensure you submit your project before or on April 8th. And somewhere between 8th of April and 25th of April, we're going to communicate with all of you in terms of, how to attend the in-person closing ceremony. And also we're going to communicate for those who will be, for those top, the shortlisted projects that will be considered for the in-person judging as well. All right, so that's it from us here. So thank you for participating in the Microsoft Data Plus AI Kenya Hack. It's been an exciting 2 weeks. It's been our joy to share with you all the content around data and everything we're doing around Microsoft Fabric, everything we're doing around with Azure AI and the Azure AI agent service. And we can't wait to see what you've actually built over the last 2 weeks using these two technologies. Thank you all for joining.